Today, I want to talk to you about speaking to your MP about pay. And I'm going to say MP throughout, just to make it easy, and because we all have an MP. But if you live in Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland, you can, of course, also try and see your member of the Scottish Parliament, your member of the Welsh Parliament, your member of the Northern Ireland Assembly. Thank you for any and all effort you've put in so far. I know that a great many of you have emailed your MP about NHS pay and the need for an early and significant pay rise. And to everyone who has done that, a big thank you from me and from the Royal College of Midwives. All the effort so far has got us to a place where there will be a pay rise this year, which for most of the public sector sadly isn't the case. But there will be a pay rise for NHS staff like midwives and maternity support workers. Plus, the government has committed to the independent NHS pay review body. That means we won't be sitting down around a table haggling over numbers. Instead, independent experts will take a good look at the evidence that we and others present and come up with a recommendation. We need you, either as an individual or with other members of your local RCM branch, to speak with your MP in person. Nowadays, of course, that's through a screen like this, but it adds up to the same thing. Meetings like that are perhaps the single most effective way to nudge your MP into raising an issue with government ministers on your behalf. And that's the best way right now that you can help the pay campaign. Well, if you type Find My MP into a search engine like Google, you should get to the right page on the Parliament website. You just input your postcode, the name of your constituency if you know it, and voila, up pops your MP and all their contact details. For the other institutions around the UK, you can try Find My MSP, Find My Welsh Parliament member, or in Northern Ireland, Find My MLA. It may be that a group, especially in a larger city, will have people who live in more than one constituency, so have different MPs. In that case, make a judgment call. You may wish to approach the MP who represents where the hospital or maternity unit is, or approach several different MPs on the basis that women from their constituencies will be served by the workplace where you are based. But just ensure there's at least one, and ideally a few people in the group who are constituents of the MP you're meeting. Once you have their contact details, all you have to do is give their office a call, say that you're a constituent, a midwife, MSW, whatever, and that you would like to have a virtual meeting with the MP on Skype, Zoom, whatever you have available to you. If you do that as part of a group, or you want to do that as part of a group, just let them know that's the case. An MP should want to meet their constituencies, and remember, the vast majority of them will welcome doing so. If there's a group of you on the call, work out in advance who will be the main person speaking on your side, or perhaps divvy up who wants to make which points. The MP may ask you questions, or they may just let you talk. It really depends on the individual. But the main points you'll want to make when you meet your MP is to tell them about how your pay has been frozen and held back for the best part of a decade now. Tell them what it's been like to work in the NHS during the pandemic. Now, we're not asking for a pay rise as a kind of reward for the work that's been done over the last year, but what has happened in that time has really shown the value of the NHS and absolutely shown the value of NHS staff and the work they do. That's really important. If someone in your group's had financial difficulties, and only if they're willing to talk about it and happy to talk about it, that might be something to raise just to illustrate to the MP the extent that the freezing and holding down of NHS pay has been a problem. And to say that you support the RCM's call for an early and significant pay rise. And finally, ask them firstly if they support you, but regardless of whether or not that they do, ask them to raise your concerns directly with the Health and Social Care Secretary, that's Matt Hancock, and the Chancellor, that's Rishi Sunak. If meeting an MSP in Scotland, you can ask them to raise it directly with the Cabinet Secretary. If meeting a member of the Welsh Parliament or the Northern Ireland Assembly, you can simply ask them to raise it with the Health Minister. Ask them too to let you know what the ministers say. That's important because it's great to give the MP something to do. You're asking them to go away and speak to the minister, but you're also asking them to report back, so that you're kind of putting on them an obligation to do it because they know they've got to write back to you and tell you what happened. It's an incredibly effective way to influence them and to influence ministers, and that kind of direct contact with the constituents will be far more effective than anything we can do from the centre. You can email me at publicaffairs@rcm.org.uk if you need anything clarified. You can also use that email address if you want to let me know what any MP has said or what they've committed to do, or to send me a copy of any letters you get from them. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck.